All right, hey everyone. So today we're gonna react to a moist critical situation that's been going on in the past couple hours. I'm just now getting into it. So without further ado, let's react to his I guess this is kind of like his hiatus video, explaining why he's going on hiatus. I didn't see the stream with him and Sneako, so I'm not really quite sure what really went on. So hopefully he goes more into detail because no one's really giving me the details on that situation.
Betsy, what a week, huh, sports fans? Holy Toledo. Yeah, so Moist Critical's in a big oopsie-poopsie situation here. It reminds me of the time in Moonfall when KC Houseman sacrifices himself and dies of cringe to become the moon. Yeah, so, being serious now, since this has become such a big issue, I've been in a lot of drama recently. I'm in hot water, and I'm biting on the fart bubbles that pop up in the bathtub here. It is a lot. So let's start with the most recent one today. My retirement. I didn't know I was retiring. That's news to me. I'm as shocked as all of you are. I had a ton of fun last night playing a game called Clickleding, which is basically like a cuckoldry simulator, but for clicking against like the Lorax in a hotel room. And I just did like an old school gameplay commentary video. I was bubbly, full of jubilation. I posted it today only to learn that I'm just a big old fucking liar. Liar, liar, plants for hire, I suppose. I apparently, and I didn't know this until I posted the video, everyone was under the impression that I was quitting the internet. So I started scratching at the hair on my chinny chin chin, wondering, when the fuck did that happen? Was I sleepwalking? Do I have somnambulism? Is this some kind of like, Fight Club situation? But instead of like Tyler Durden, I have fucking Charles Turden here that's just making wrong announcements. It turns out the patient zero behind all of this was a post Jackson made announcing that I would be leaving the podcasts, which is something I thought about periodically for quite a few months now, mainly because I started to recognize that I was becoming the very thing I'd make fun of with being chronically online. Like, I just was always online, and the podcasts were a big proponent of that, and I just kind of wanted to scale back the amount of time I spend online, and I kept Jackson in the loop the whole time here about where my head was at, and last week I told him, hey man, I think this is going to be where I hang up the jersey, you can put it in the rafters, throw it in the dumpster, but I think I'm just going to be, sailing off into the sunset here and just reducing the amount of stuff I do online. Which he completely understood, so he made the announcement just letting people know that, and then that got spun on Twitter and Reddit as Moist Critical's taking an indefinite hiatus and quitting the internet, fundamentally. Don't know when I'll be back. He's done with the internet because of all this controversy.
Okay, so this was a complete misunderstanding. Okay, I thought it was because of the Sneako situation why he didn't want to come back to the internet. But okay, I mean, leave it to the fans to kind of blow things out of proportion, make things seem bigger than what it actually is.
Patooey on his grave. He's gone. When looking at the post, I don't even know where that's coming from. It's literally just talking about the podcast and me just stepping away. Like, it doesn't extend beyond that. I can't even wrap my tiny noodle around how anyone could perceive this as me being done with the internet entirely, but that's the story that they ran with, and that's what most people saw, not the actual post. So everyone thought I was quitting the internet, so I posted that video that I was really happy with because it just felt like an OG old school video that made me happy, and then bang! Just a flood of comments and dislikes all saying shit like, how could you fucking deceive us? I thought you quit, huh? What happened to leaving, huh? I just read this post on Twitter from an account that had a profile pic of titties photoshopped onto Thomas Edison that said you were done, and it had 50,000 likes, so I know it was true, and you're just a fucking liar. I can't even just peacefully walk away from some projects without it being a massive fucking reaction over actual nothing burger information.
People are
And
stupid.
trust me, no one has a palate more refined for nothing burgers than me. I have ranted about the stupidest shit of all time, but this was mind-boggling even for me. So to set the record straight, no, I'm not retiring, despite what the experts are telling you. All I did was walk away from a couple of projects. That's really it. Like, that's a pretty normal thing to do, especially when one of them I've been doing for, 8 years. I really didn't think it was that deep, especially not deep enough for how big of a story it's become with all of the wild narratives running around about the true reason that I stopped doing it. So let's get into that drama. I've talked about it on stream, I don't even know how many times at this point, but we'll just talk about all of it in this video here. So, when covering the Ava Tyson situation, I was attacked by a lot of people for not being quick enough. Even though I covered it within like the first 6 hours, people were unsatisfied that I hadn't made a video within like the first fucking 20 minutes of it dropping. And then when I did finally finish the full video covering all of it, it was another massive problem where now I only did it out of an obligation because people called me out, and then I also got accused of being a transphobe because I didn't use Ava Tyson's preferred pronouns, which were she, her.
As usual. Okay. Yeah, as usual, people overreact to shit. I thought this was going to be like a big deal, but apparently it isn't at all. Go figure. I actually thought he was leaving for good. I didn't think he was just doing, I think this is actually good for him, that he should probably take a break from being terminally online. It's not good to do all this stuff all the time. You need a break from it, especially when your fans are this idiotic, where they have to take everything out of proportion because you said something and they just take your word for Bible, I guess.
I didn't know that. I thought just calling Ava Tyson by her name was okay, and I had also heard when I went to the Mr. Beast thing, someone refer to Ava Tyson with they. So I was truly under the impression that that was okay. And for that, I was annihilated by...
And I think that like people use like the pronoun thing as like I feel like it's just low hanging fruit. Obviously, someone makes a mistake, but it's not like anything to crucify someone over. It makes no sense because it's just a mistake. And I think you guys pretend to be outraged. Like people have a lot of selective outrage nowadays. They're not even consistent with it. It's kind of like, oh, the people that they like, they like get away with it, but the people that they don't like or that are easy to bully, they always have to point it out as something that's like really, really bad. Like they just blow it out of proportion. So just, I would say, just don't like listen to them. But eventually those are the types of people who pick up steam, or the fucking idiots and morons of the world. They get the most attention. So don't know what to do about that.
by a good chunk of Twitter. And then annihilated by another good chunk of Twitter because I called out Sneako, who was the main proponent, about me covering for Mr. Beast to keep the collab alive. I wasn't talking about Ava Tyson because I wanted the Mr. Beast collab. And I talked about how absurd that statement was, especially given his history with fighting against the age of consent. He's been very vocal about how much he hates the age of consent, and so I talked about that briefly at the end of the video, which then changed the whole narrative for a lot of people, where I never talked about Ava Tyson and only talked about Sneako. So it was a complete lose-lose, because if I didn't talk about what Sneako was saying, I would have been called a coward for not addressing it and talking about, like, well, he was going to cover for Mr. Beast until Sneako called him out. So, like, if I did...
And this is why I don't do debates, because it's a lose-lose situation. It's basically like who has more and who has less to lose, pretty much. Whoever has more to lose is usually the loser, because the idiot, especially like Sneako too, because he has really shitty takes. But it's like he can't get any dumber, so it's kind of just like he doesn't have anything on the line. His credibility is garbage. I think him having a platform is the only reason why he's able to debate with bigger YouTubers. But it's kind of just like, and also he's like well versed in how to debate. And just because you can debate well doesn't mean your point is correct. You're just really, you just know how to word things in a certain way to get your point across, but doesn't make it right. And I've even seen this when like listening to like Destiny's podcasts and his collabs with like regular people and other YouTubers. I'm just like, yeah, this seems, even like Candace Owens too. She does the same tactic kind of, where it's kind of like you dodge a question, you attack someone's character, you basically pivot from the question entirely, change the subject, this, that, and the third. It's like basically an argument that goes nowhere. It doesn't ever get solved. You'll be lucky enough to even find part of a middle ground. And as soon as they agree on the middle ground to meet you at, they're just going to change the goalpost anyway. Doesn't make any sense. Waste of time, waste of words. And, it's just not good for your stress. But anyway, I'm just going to end the video right here because I don't feel like listening to 25 minutes of this. I pretty much get the gist of what he's saying. It's all a misunderstanding. Everyone wanted to take it out of proportion or whatever. So I guess and it was just about fucking Sneako. So less said the better. Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell on the icon to get updates when I'm making new videos. DM me with any videos you would want me to react to or see. Anyway, this is Narcoleptic Man signing off.